Last part of week 4. Hang on, because at the end I'm gonna share the secret that I learned from Gary. Do you know who Amelia Earhart is? This is the name of the third person who flew the Atlantic. You might not realize, but actually we know her. But the real question is not that we know her or not, but how hard it is to figure out what our strength is. This is what I could ask Gary Vaynerchuk about, and this is what he advised me. It doesn't matter how many things you are good at. What matters is that you figure that out and play on your strength. That's the secret. In other words, this is differentiation. This is in marketing. It helps you stand out from the crowd. So how can you do that? Think about it. If you are doing what everyone else is doing, then you are approaching life in a totally, completely wrong way. This is what NEISTAT says.
If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
You realize that you will never be the best looking person in the room, but the really cool thing is if you put in the hard work and you figure out your strength, you can stand out. And this is what Amelia did. We don't know her as the third person who flew across the Atlantic, but we know her as the first woman who did so. Love category comes from the book, a marketing book written by Jack Trout. And if you are good at one or two things, all you need to do is find an angle, a unique angle that you can use and create your own category. The good news is that it's not that hard as it sounds. How, you ask? If you can be the first in a category, you just set up the new one. So, for example, when launching a product, you should ask, how can we be first in a certain category? For example, with my company SpringTab, we found that it is the first promotion tool by a digital agency that is easy to use thanks to its data gathering and provides a converting personalized experience. As Barney Stinson says, new is always better.
New is always better. You know who's 1,000,000 times hotter than the hottest girl I've ever slept with? Her okay-looking friend I haven't seen naked. Why? Because new is always better.
Most companies focus on why their brand is better, but people are interested in what's new. After all, who's interested in what's better? Find and educate the market on what's new and what's cool. If you aim for average, it doesn't take that much planning. You just, all you need to do is go to a good school, stay out of trouble, apply for some jobs that you think you are good at, and you are good to go. But if you want something greater to stand out or do extraordinary or find the real meaning to your life, you have two options. Become the best in the world at one specific thing, like Michael Jordan, best basketball player, but that's like hard. Or find your strength and become pretty good at them, like being in the top 25% at two or more things. If you could find these things, then being in the top 25% is not that hard. You put in the hard work and you can be in it. Combining the two, where the magic happens. This is what Scott Adams did. His case is amazing. He was, this funny kid in the school, but not the funniest. Like, he wouldn't make it as a stand-up comedist. And on the other hand, he was always drawing these dribbles and things like that, but he is not an artist. He wouldn't make it as an art director or like a graphic designer. With his business background, which is his third strength, he combined the fun, the being funny, and being able to show it in a visual way, and he created his own category. That's like the perfect example how we should approach it. In the other episode, I talked about the same analogy why I started vlogging. With my background in photography and storytelling as an entrepreneur, I always have to be pitching and stuff like that. I'm not the best photographer at all, and storytelling, I love it, I'm an enthusiast in it, but I'm not the best. But if I combine the two, it gives me a really good edge telling the story in a visual way. I mean, this is what I hope for, and it's up to you to decide whether or not I'm wrong or right. The secret is it is way easier to reach the top 25% and it requires way less energy.